calling the April 7th general government meeting to order. First up, we need the approval of our agenda. Can I get a motion and support?
Move to adopt the agenda.
Moved by Pileski, supported by Walls. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Passes unanimously. Public comment. Do we have any public comment today? Public comment, last call. Okay, we'll have another one at the end of the meeting. Go on to committee items, number 4. I need a motion of support to approve the minutes from last month.
So moved.
Motion by Walls, supported by Snell. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. Next up, we have committee item B, the Verigy status point. Welcome.
Good morning. Morning, ladies and gentlemen, commissioners. I stand before you to do another construction status update. I was here a couple months ago, beginning of February, and I want to talk about all the good things that's happening, some of the challenges. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go through that, and you'll see the same format's the same. And what I want to do, and what I've shown on the presentation, is highlights of the things that have been updated. So I'll just zero in on those, and then finish up with an update with the percentages.
We're ready to hear you.
Thank you. Next slide, please.
Oh, that's what he was waiting for.
In red, I've indicated we're at 95%. The buildings that have come up to 95% status is North Lawn. We finished the lighting and the building controls there. I show an image 3, spot unit there with some controls on the valves. That's just an example. At the airport, we have some real good progress there. Image number 2 shows the canopy solar, taking into account maximizing the parking area and also utilizing the space more efficiently for the solar. The airport specifically is very particular about glare for the airport and also the airplanes. So we work closely with the permitting and also FAA to make sure that we pass the glare studies. Usually the parking is a safe spot from the standpoint of locating them as opposed to out in the field. So this was kind of a 2-for-1 for us, able to provide coverage for winter. Similar type solution is going to be employed over at the courthouse also. If you could advance, please. Scopes of work, 60%. Last time I was here, we were at around 50%, but I've bumped those up to 60. And the ones that we've made considerable progress is the health services building at the courthouse. Even though it's slow moving, you see in image number 3, we've actually mobilized the geo drilling there. We've got active parking lot paving removal. Geothermal, especially with the IRA having national involvement and effect with geothermal technology. The actual contracting of that, and specifically in the Midwest, has been very competitive and very selective with regards to trying to get the appropriate contractors. So we do have Midwest Geothermal. They're based out of Grand Rapids doing this work, and they are the premier contractor for a work like this. So as you see there in image number 3, they're actively drilling. Image 2, we've got some pumps there are listed, and at image 1, we're replacing all the heat pumps there that are already near or beyond their useful age, and we're converting those over to heat pump geothermal units. And that's actively happening now. At this point, is there any specific questions with what I spoke about?
Questions, board? Tony, go ahead.
Thank you, Commissioner. According to the contract, you have guaranteed us a annual energy savings or reduction in the amount of $961,209. And the date of substantial completion for your contract is now. So with one project being 100% done and 5 others that are 95% done, how are we verifying the energy savings that we should be experiencing right now?
Well, first of all, yes, you are true with regards to the energy savings and the guarantee. The only achievable way to get that energy savings to become real is that all the energy conservation measures have to be activated, commissioned, and put in place. And the guarantee doesn't start till the project actually completes. And final payment, or actually the initial payment, will be due then. There are 2 or 3 solar projects that have already been interconnected and active, actually accruing construction savings. So it's actually a bonus from the standpoint to the county that the savings are being accrued and showing positive savings. Lighting, solar, and for example, even North Lawn has efficient systems in place and effective use for the users. So to summarize, what I'm getting at is that the actual savings that you've quoted technically isn't going to be active and guaranteed until actually the project is at 100%. But in the meantime, there's a lot of accrued savings that are building up into the savings coffer per se for the county.
Okay. On the county's side, I would like to know who, facilities, administration, I'm not sure who is tracking the county's total energy usage month by month so that we have a record for 2024, what was total energy in January, in February, in March. So then we can, in 2025, start comparing what are our energy consumptions so that we can verify that we are getting the $961,000 savings. I know there were delays on this project. Some of them were outside your control. If there were no delays on this project, you're supposed to be complete, and we should be receiving those energy savings now. So that's my concern. The citizens put money into this project to save energy, and I believe it's commissioner's obligation back to our citizens that I need to tell the people I represent, yes, this was the utility bill January 2024. This is the utility bill in January or July 2025. So I can verify that the commissioners are doing their due diligence and we are receiving what we paid for. So I guess I would ask the administration, are they the entity that should be tracking the monthly total utility bills for July last year and what's it going to be in July this year? So I can verify that we're saving what we should be saving.
I'll answer that question. Yes, we have a contractual obligation after 5 years. Actually, in this, the last measurement and verification report will be delivered after the 6th year of savings being accrued. Actually, the 5th year, and the savings. Actually, the report would be delivered after the 6th year. But after the first year, we'll have we'll have logged 1 year, which is going to be the first contractual energy guarantee required. We're required to actually publish a M&V report, measurement and verification report, reconciling the construction savings that's occurring now, identify that, and also understand the guaranteed obligation for the year one. It'll show up in a M&V report that we'll be publishing after, let's say, a month after year one. So that would be 13th month. And we will do that for the next 5 years following thereafter.
The energy savings report that you're going to publish, will you publish that at the end of the first year and at the end of the second year and the end of the third year?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All the way through the end of the 5th year. I believe our contract states that.
Okay.
It does, yeah.
Well, if the contract should be complete today, we should be experiencing those energy savings today. Most contracts have liquidated damages if performance isn't what it was guaranteed to be. Then we need to know how much of that savings are we receiving now. We're not
Commissioner
receiving
Baer.
all of it because the project's not done.
Commissioner Bear,
Yes, sir.
we're kind of wandering here. He cannot, as an example, the hydropower out of the ground, he might be 3/4 done with constructing it, but we're not getting 3/4 of the savings because it's not operational yet. And a lot of that goes into effect other than the solar and the LED we're getting, but
Yeah.
we will stay, I mean, he'll be here another couple months and we'll go then. You're asking for something he can't give you.
Okay, so those reports are coming.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, the positive thing about, and again, I'm trying to look at glass half full. All the savings that's being accrued as we speak increases construction savings, which is actually not part of the energy guarantee. You know, the energy guarantee starts when the project has been fully implemented. And that's when we can actually realize that we have the potential to actually deliver that $900,000 savings. Until that happens, you know, everything is essentially called construction savings.
If I may.
Yes.
Mr. Chair. Just reiterate what Ed is saying there, that everything he said is correct to the best of my knowledge at this point. The 5-year measure does not start until the end of the project. We are accruing some savings now. We don't necessarily have a good handle on it, but I know when they're hooked up to the solar panels, we're buying less electricity from consumers. But the important part there is it doesn't start until the end of the project, and then we get our 5 years. This is kind of a bonus savings, if you will.
Yes,
It
exactly.
doesn't adversely affect our savings. Now, on the other hand, though, on the negative side of that equation, is we have bills due, bond payments coming up next year, I believe it is, and we have not achieved. Hopefully, by the first time we start making bond payments, that we have achieved some savings to offset that with. You know, that's the plan. So after that, once we start paying the bill and we're not receiving the savings, then I become more concerned there, Ed.
Yes.
Rightfully so. But for now, we're getting some bonus savings.
Yes, and I could speak a little bit more about that specifically in my summary page. There are some end of escrow demands that the Bank of America is expecting, so we've made an internal deadline that we have to be done, and we'll talk about that in the next slide.
Mr. Chair, go ahead.
Upon completion of all this, Ed, would you make available an opportunity for commissioners who would like to physically see what you've done? Give us a tour of the new stuff?
Absolutely, I'd love to do that. If there is a like a ribbon cutting ceremony that would be
We
available.
could make that happen also, but I
Love
think
to
the
have that.
commissioners would like to see what they bought.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Maybe we could do that a week prior to that, but we'd have to pick the location which we feel is appropriate. But I'd be very happy to schedule that. We would have the project manager, Chris DeLu, help captain that with regards to specifics and some of the challenges that he's had. But I could definitely ensure that we can get that scheduled.
I would just add to that, that one, we'll probably need a little bus.
Yes.
And the commissioners are going to need seriously a few hours of time to travel around because this project has touched almost every building we own. So we'll be traveling.
Yes, sir. What may be best is that we'll come up with a preliminary so-called tour. We'll have Mr. Overton kind of review it and says, hey, this makes sense. No, don't worry about that type of thing. We'll assemble that and we'll be conscious of the time that you guys feel is appropriate. I'd be very happy to do that. Thank you.
Is the youth home all operational yet, the electric grid and everything?
Yes, that was one of the first buildings that was actually up and running. And there was a general comment that when the bill came in, there was something wrong with the electric
Maybe we
bill.
can get a quick tour of that soon,
Yes,
where we can see stuff working. We have to report back to our townships and,
yes.
yeah, what's going on with that? Well, we're about 60% done, but nothing's working yet, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Hard to explain. So if you see it, then you can. Thank you. Go ahead, carry on.
Sure. I think the youth center is, and again, I don't want to speak out of turn. You know, when I quote 95%, there may be some training that needs to be done. You know, some final turnover, but when it's at 95%, the users and the county actually have effective use of that facility. It's physically running. There may be some closeout items. You know, some stuff here and there, but the physical use and general operation, it is functioning. So not to digress too much on the youth center, when the consumer's energy bill did come in, there's a little yellow flag that came up. It says there's something wrong. The bill is ridiculously low, and we did some investment. That's what the solar did.
So the energy provider noticed the big drop in,
No, I believe the administration
oh, okay.
had noticed it. And we looked at it and we said, yeah, that's accurate.
Okay, go ahead and carry on. with your
Okay.
report. We spent enough time there. Thank you.
Sure. This is the piece that keeps me up late at night almost every week. Scopes of work to be yet to be completed. We're roughly at around 20%. I want to focus in specifically at the landfill. We're making tremendous progress with Mr. Overton and the administration on getting final approval and ownership change to the county. I believe it's at the legislation that's coming up later this month, and we'll get movement on that hopefully in our favor. This will allow us to formally apply for permits, follow through with Eagle and complete equipment selection and engineering and et cetera. I know last time I was here, we were challenged on the fact that, well, we've got all this time, let's just do all the engineering. The problem and the challenge we have is that Eagle will not review until the ownership issue was cleared. And from our perspective, it would be too hasty to order all this equipment if for some reason Eagle had to make us pivot on a design. And that they either could be costly or timely from the standpoint of making sure that it's just general practice from an engineering perspective that equipment is ordered after engineering approval.
Ed, if I may chime in on that, it's scheduled for April 15th, I believe, in the legislature, the committee. And I know I was in contact with Sarah Leitner Representative Leitner and Senator Schink last week. We're in communication. So hopefully we can move that forward out of committee and get it to the full board and approved. And regardless, the state has indicated willingness to lease it to us. But both parties decided it's better choice to own it outright. That way we don't have to keep asking permission from the state every time we make a change to do something. But from my perspective, regardless of whether we own it or lease it, the project will go forward. And while I appreciate your position there that Eagle is, you never know what Eagle might do, it is causing delay, it really is. But I'm pretty confident that we're going to get it resolved here in the next month or two, and then you guys will be able to get this thing done by next spring.
Yes. Yes, sir. And thank you very much for your patience with us, and also and working with the. There was 2 or 3 entities at the state level that required Ms. Leitner to help us all get to the table and get to the point where we're at. So we're hopeful, and we will stick with the county to get this thing completed. Just a general overview, just so everybody understands. Image number 2 shows the work that we intend to do. There are 3 tanks that we're actually proposing to drain. One's in the northeast corner, one's in the northwest corner, one's on the southwest corner, and then one's on the far east. And you can see the dotted lines all coming to a building in the center there. Now, just a little bit of history here. That building has been flattened by a mild tornado that came through sometime last year. I don't know exactly when. So I know the administration is working with the insurance to get that all taken care of. And that's where things started to get sticky from the standpoint of trying to get things done is that once the insurance got involved, they kind of said, geez, this is, now if I could draw attention to image number 2, what's outlined in purple there is actually state-owned land, which is almost 3/4 of the area that's listed in image number 2. And that building actually is located on state land. So there's, we brought this to the attention of the administration, and we didn't want to, push any buttons or anything like that. And we allowed the county to navigate through that with insurance, with ownership, and do we even have the legal right to operate? All this, we almost came to a complete stop with regards to making sure. This was last August. Once we found that out, this is when Ms. Leitner and Mr. Overton got together and decided we need to get this resolved. So in a nutshell, we have to rebuild that building that got destroyed and really start from scratch. It would be nice that we could start excavating and things like that, but we need a permit to do that. And not only that, but we have to have permission to operate. So once the ownership issue is resolved,
Who's paying to reconstruct the building? County?
a part insurance and part us.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
The building was old, antiquated, and not in good shape. There was always the plan to spend some money to redo that building.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if quite, I wouldn't call it a tornado, but there were some high winds and damaging winds took that building down. That's the kind of shape it was in, so. And
Yeah.
it was basically a garage,
Sure.
little storage building, so.
Yeah, a portion of the building that we took it upon ourselves to renovate and get it into shape that we could use it. It did need some new siding and some structural upgrades. Certain portion of it was really not in good condition. So really a high wind came in and basically kind of just folded it. So there is still a foundation floor and things like that. There are some things that we can make good on, but essentially it's not standing. Yep. Any other questions with regards to this? And I can advance to the summary.
Any further questions, board? Okay, continue on.
What I've done here is I've highlighted all the physical changes in blue, in bold. And what I also have done is I've added May 26th. Originally, we anticipated to be done December 25th. The only piece that extends to May 26th, and May 26th is actually a monumental date with the financing of this project. There is an escrow that as construction completes, the city authorizes, the county authorizes Bank of America to release funds so we can pay contractors and things like that. And as the project goes through completion, like as shown, it draws from this interest-bearing escrow account. Typically 1 year over the committed timeframe. So May 26th, once we get past May 26th, there's all kinds of different implications that occur. So Mike Overton challenged us. He said, you guys need to be done, May 26th. And we're going to step up to that. What this, if you look at the time continuum between June 25th and May 26th, it's roughly 11 months, 12 months. And we feel confident that if we get all these ducks in a row with the landfill, we should be able to be completed in 1 year. We'll goal ourselves to finish in 2025.
If I just, for the benefit of the board, I'd add that the reason that it works that way, the escrow account, come next May, if we haven't depleted those funds, moved them, it will trigger an audit requiring us to have an outside auditor come in and make sure we're not doing arbitrage, because the arbitrage is not legal. And I'm sure we're in good shape on it all, but nonetheless, we would not, I only want to be accused of arbitrage.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that, and fully respect that. We actually, again, what I had said earlier, we believe we can finish at the end of the year. And it may push a little bit past that, but we will be done by May 26th. We have some long lead items at the landfill. Some of this is specialized equipment. So it's really important that we finish engineering. We understand all the equipment needs to be ordered and order it. In the meantime, once that happens, we could work within the landfill. The other good thing with the landfill, as opposed to the courthouse and some of these other surrounding areas within the city, is that there's nobody there at the landfill. We can
Any questions?
move fast.
Commissioner Snell?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So looking at your construction status, and you said that the landfill project is projected to be finished no later than May of 2026.
Yes, sir.
So none of the things that Tony was talking about would kick in until the end of the project, which is 2026 in May.
That's anticipated. If we close the project out in December 2025, that's when it would start. Whenever we actually complete.
Okay. Thank you for your answer.
You're welcome.
Any further questions for Mary Jane? Thank you.
You're welcome.
You have a motion by Valesky, support by Willis, to receive the report. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Next up, we have item C, finance. Welcome, Cecilia.
Good morning. So I'm here to go over February 2025's financial statements. As you can see on page 1 with the benchmarks, 2/12 of a year is 16.7%. Our expenditures for year-to-date is at 16.2%, which is a positive number. And then our year-to-date revenue percent totals at 9.2%, and a 3-year average is at 7.2%. So, are there any questions anyone had on the financial report?
Questions, board? Nope. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Well, you usually have a question here.
I can make one up, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you.
Move
Okay,
to
thank you
receive
very
the
much.
report.
Mr. Chair.
Thank- A motion and support to receive the report. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. Thank you very much. IT next. Welcome, Ben.
Good morning. The county has been using Sophos antivirus to protect the servers and the workstations for several years now at this point. I believe it's been at least 6 or 7 years. We've been happy with the product. It is coming up for an end of contract replacement, and we've been taking a look at EDR products as opposed to antivirus products. That's endpoint detection and response. It has the same level of protection as regular antivirus, which is where you have a catalog of known bad actors and programs, and if it finds a match, it shuts it down. The endpoint detection and response adds a layer to it where it looks at the behavior of it. So even if it's not a piece of software that matches something in its library, if it's a new threat or something caused by a human actor, it looks at what is the software doing and does that indicate compromise? And then it can flag it or quarantine it or shut it down from there. So this is where the industry is moving as a standard. A lot of the regulatory bodies, while they're not requiring it yet at this point, have started to really start pushing that direction. And so we've been looking at it for a time. In this particular case, we've been able to, we sought SLCGP grant money from the state for cybersecurity funding, and that has been awarded for this project as well, which will pay for approximately half of it over the life cycle of the contract that we're proposing here. So beyond that, if there are any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Questions, board? Commissioner Pulaski.
I'm making up a question, Mr. Chair.
I have one ready.
Oh, okay. So this is for our servers. Does this also act like for laptops or?
Yes.
Do we have, I guess this is the most important to me question, and self-serving, by the way, is whether there's availability for use on personal laptops of this. I'm kind of assuming not, but that would be extra wonderful.
It does not include personal laptops. It does include the county-issued laptops.
Okay, just kind of, like I said, a grossly self-serving question. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. I have a question, Ben. We're going to pay the same price for 3 years of service, but it's going to be supplemented by a state rebate. When does that rebate kick in? I don't see it.
That rebate technically would kick in immediately between now and 2026. It'd be on the payments for the service for that time period.
Okay.
It's a reimbursement grant, so that's why it's not reflected in any of it.
Okay. Okay, any further questions on this, other than we need a motion and support?
I'll support.
Motion by Snell, supported by Pulaski. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Ben. Equalization is next. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning. Got a couple things for you guys today. First is our contract is up for our commercial industrial studies. just a real quick understanding of what that is. In 2020, my predecessor came before you guys, said, I can't find anybody to do this job. Let's hire someone to contract and do it. They found CSZ Services at the time, which then split into two companies, one of them being Assessing Solutions, who we're still using today. This is to replace a full-time employee. The company's basic scope of work is they're going to go visit over 500 commercial industrial properties, determine land values, and an ECF for all of those, which is an economic condition factor, and then provide that to us. So this is normally a full-time position that they're handling for much less rate than a full-time employee. So the company is Assessing Solutions, and full disclosure, it is my uncle's company, but he predates me being here, and he is actually the reason why I am here, because when you guys reached out for equalization directors, he put my name into the run. So I reached out to a bunch of people, different places. This is kind of a specialized thing to find someone to do this for. There's only 83 counties, so there's only 83 people who do this every year. And finding someone who can do it the way we do it, not the way an assessor does it, not the way an appraiser does it, but the way the state expects us to do it, can be difficult. Well, it is commonly done up north. They don't do it at the scope that we do. Asking for 500 properties to be appraised is a much larger impact, and most people were like, absolutely not, I have no interest in doing that. So out of all the people I reached out to, I only got 2 quotes back. And this is one of them, and he's significantly less than the other guy. So are there any questions?
Questions, board? Commissioner Pulaski.
Thank you. So we've been using this firm heretofore, right? So this is kind of an extension of what we've been using?
Correct.
Okay. And I think I saw something in the messaging that this, as you know, this is very specialized stuff, and to hire an employee with the right credentials is difficult and I'm sure expensive.
Yeah, close to $100,000 would be the cost to the county after benefits and everything.
Capable people are expensive, yes. So Mr. Chair, it sounds reasonable to me, and I would offer to adopt the staff recommendation if it's in order. Thank you.
Okay, have a motion by Pulaski, support by Snell, to move forward with the contract for Assessing Solutions, appraisal contract. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. You have another item of business?
Yep, so next is our equalization report and the approval of the 4029 tax request. These are my normal annual ones. This is the report saying, hey, this is what I did this year. We gotta have that approved by the Board of Commissioners, and we submit that to the state of Michigan. So basically, everyone did a good job. Assessors did a good job. There's no factors. There's nothing we had to step into. We were able to manage the markets appropriately. Assessors agreed. We all met there. None of them are here today to appeal equalization, so I assume I did a good job as well. So that's where we are with that. The only thing on here that I'd like to point out, which I think is interesting, is in Parma, and if you guys want to look at the graph that I provided there on page 17 of the equalization report, you'll see that their taxable change is like drastic compared to everybody else. It's all those solar fields that got put in. So that was almost $22 million of taxable value that got added to the roll. So that's about $160,000 the county's getting additionally now that those were added in. So I just thought that might be something you guys found interesting, and something that really kind of stands out. Why is this graph so different? In all the previous years, everyone stays pretty close to the same, right?
Find some more.
Right? Okay, but that's it for the equalization report portion. This does need approval of the full board.
I'll move it.
I'll support it.
Okay, motion by Pulaski, supported by Walls, to move the report forward. All in favor?
One question, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Once we adopt this, that's what the townships need to do, what their
Nothing.
thing,
The-
they're good, huh?
The townships are good. They turn into us, and then we turn into the state. And if the state had an issue, then they perform state equalization the same as we do. They do this. It's a 3-level system. So they're going to go through at the State Tax Commission meeting next month. They're going to check all the counties. make sure everybody's stuff's kosher, and go on. It's kind of our double check to make sure everyone's assessments are following the market and that assessors aren't just out there eyeballing things. So,
In this case, the poop runs uphill, huh?
yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir, we have a motion support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously.
Perfect. And then one more. Yeah, is the L4029 report. There was 2 in that staff report. That'll take another motion, but that one is, I wanted to go over it quickly because we did have a millage reduction fraction that occurred. So the millage reduction fraction is a 0.9941. So that is going to be taking place and reducing our millage rate permanently. So it's Headley, nothing we can do about it, but I just wanted to let you guys know that that is occurring. It is kind of a hefty millage reduction fraction compared to previous years, but people are buying their houses and it's causing it to happen.
Commissioner Plusky, go ahead.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. And so, just so I understand kind of the math here, Joseph, we're currently at to take the county millage, the top, one of the top, 5.066 mills.
Sure.
From a 5.95 voted mills. In other words, we're down almost 0.9 mills based on Headley already, right?
Correct.
Okay, and we're going to multiply the 5.066 by 99.41% to get the 5.0361
Correct.
rate. So that will take us, we're down then almost 0.92 mils from the voted millage.
Correct.
Based on Headley.
Because of the Headley rollback, yes.
Yes, and I'll reiterate my reminder to commissioners that the Headley rollback is costing us a pretty significant amount of revenue that could be used for some of the things we would like to do here in the county, like fill in the blank, okay, all the stuff we would like to do. So I'm just making sure I understand the math on that Headley rollback and that it continues year to year.
It's
every year.
perpetual. It cannot be changed without the vote of a people. So
Right.
the original intention of that Headley rollback was before Proposal A, everyone's assessment values would go crazy every year. And so people would go, oh, we need to step in and say, okay, you're going to reduce this millage. So old rollbacks before 1994 were really aggressive. And now it's only caused by people uncapping their property. So if they sell it to someone and it uncaps, that happens. And we have about a 30% difference in the county of our taxable value, our county's taxable versus our county assessed. So if you think about that, you could almost say on average, when someone buys a house, that is a 30% increase in that taxable value. But that goes directly against us on that millage reduction fraction. That's what's causing millage reduction fractions to happen. So the state will, they probably should have removed Headley, but they like to add laws, not remove them.
I would just add, if I may, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
The, just to put a dollar number to that, because, it's 5.0361 is somewhat nebulous. What this really means is the county reduction in revenue annually is about $4 million, a little over $4 million. We receive $4 million less than we would have otherwise received if there was not a rollback.
Yes, but I would say if you ever don't receive a rollback, that means you could have actually gained more money, because then your actual tax base could have grown more. Because there's a rollback, we know every tax dollar available, we were able to collect. In fact, we were collecting too much, so they had to reduce us. So the tax law is very in favor of the taxpayer. So.
Which we're all taxpayers and we appreciate, but for those of us who have to fund our budget, an extra $4 million a year would go a long way towards improving things.
We'll find that next July.
So then, yep, and then, so this 4029 needs to be approved too, so that can be signed and then distributed for tax collecting authorities, all the treasurers can collect.
And you're under a tight budget, or a tight timeline, aren't you?
For that 29, I'm not. That one is due in July. I like to present it to you guys at the same time because I have the numbers.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I'll offer the motion to adopt the Form L4029 recommended to the full board.
Motion by Pulaski, supported by Snell. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Good morning, Kyle.
Morning. Two different items today, both roofing projects. The first item is some park roofs, picnic shelters, and restrooms. We've been really tackling these the last 2 years. This will be our third year. We're getting a pretty good handle on getting these all replaced and wherever there's the greatest need. So this year, the greatest need is at Horton Mill, Alfred R. Snyder County Park, Minard Mill, and Swains Lake. A few different picnic shelters, 5 total roofs. This is something we had in our capital budget that we planned for this year, and it came in right about where we thought it would. So this is a planned expense, and we would have all these improved in time for Memorial Day weekend. So we did get 5 bids back, and we are recommending the low bid.
Okay, low bid was Sterling Construction?
Sterling Construction, yep.
Okay. Any questions on this board? Motion by Snell,
Support.
support by Walls. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. Next, we have a sport grant project.
Yeah, if you recall, in December, you all approved the contract with Mercer to do the site work at the Armory property for the future farmers market. Now we're starting to get bids back for the actual building itself. So the first bid that we've got back here is for, again, to replace the roof there. So we've got some other, we're obtaining other bids currently for probably next month for HVAC, painting, and overhead doors and tuck pointing. But this is kind of the first of that package. If you remember, this is entirely covered by a grant from the state of Michigan. Again, recommending the low bid, which is North Ply.
Questions? Commissioner Pulaski, go ahead.
Sorry to be so verbose today, sir.
No, you're fine.
This is not the building that collapsed, right? This is the one that's still upright?
Yeah, the smaller building, yes.
Okay, and I think I heard you to say that this is a state grant, no county general fund monies for this, right?
Exactly, yep. 100% covered by the grant.
Okay, we're inviting the state to spend money.
99
How nice of it to do that.
99,000.
I'll move the adoption of the staff recommendation, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Pulaski, supported by Snell. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, item I. County Controller. That would be you.
Thank you. What you have here is a proposal staff report to strategic planning. Quick review. We did strategic planning in 19, adopted the plan for January of 20. And so we're a little past, a little overdue here, but a host of reasons. However, we're fortunate. Last time we paid $60,000. This time there's an opportunity to partner with the chamber and the city and a few other folks to do a larger 20-year community strategic plan, and then piggyback on that with our $50,000 to do to take the information they gather through the surveys and all the community meetings, and then that planner, those people would come and meet with our board and take you through all the information they've garnered, and then do the strategic planning, much like you've done in the past, where we sit down in a room and work through it all and see what the priorities, how they align. This was, I believe, a good opportunity, and will also hopefully put us in alignment with the larger picture as far as the 20-year plan that the community is working out through the chamber. And we have Ryan here. He's the president and CEO of the chamber, and we have his presentation on there. Would you please come forward and maybe give the board a little overview of the presentation, the process that you went through, and why you think it's a good idea?
Sure. So our 20-year community vision plan actually came out of looking at some of the population data here in Jackson County and the city of Jackson. We know that that the city of Jackson's lost roughly 40% of its population over the last 60 years. And while the county continued to grow during that time, over the last 2 decades or so, the county's actually stagnated and now started to shrink a little bit. I've heard a couple of commissioners, I think, today say, we wish we had more money to do more things. And one of the guarantees for that is more tax base, right? More population. And so, the intention here was to sort of go back and look at what are growing communities doing, counties, cities across the country. We know that we can't necessarily compete with Florida for weather. We can't necessarily compete with some of those communities that have major research institutions with 40,000 students who, are a built-in tax base. But looking across the country, we had some examples of locations that, in some cases were incredibly cold, like Mankato, Minnesota, and Rapid City, South Dakota. But both are growing communities. And being able to go back and look at what some of those places have done, and what's come out of that is it's been sort of a persistence towards some of these long-term goals. It's aligning, not just government and business, but community members, residents from across the county, to be able to come together with kind of a shared vision over that time. And as we went through this process and took a look at it, we identified, reached out to 4 different vendors who do these types of plans. Most of them do county strategic plans. They do comprehensive plans, economic vitality plans, those types of things, and settled on Planning Next out of Columbus, Ohio. I know I booed when I heard it too. But the reason is they've done some of this work across the Midwest, Ohio, Indiana. Here in Michigan, they just wrapped up a comprehensive plan for the city of Grand Rapids. They recently did, I think about the time Jackson County did their strategic plan, they did one for Flint and Genesee County. And then their rate was about 22% less than anyone else that we had gotten proposals from. So sort of settled on them, and then realized as the county was looking at doing a strategic plan, that because they do these as well, there was an opportunity for us to sort of share some of the expense here and some of those resources for a significant savings for the county by adding that strategic plan on and kind of piggybacking, like Mr. Overton said, on that community engagement, some of those facilitation processes that they do during their 9 to 12 month planning. Most of it's incredibly similar to what the county commission would pay for on its own. And so sort of by joining, kind of asking around to some of these groups. I know the county paid about $60,000 in 2019. It looks like it's probably in the $75,000 to $100,000 range as a standalone plan now. So, the goal would be to sort of create some of that alignment. From the business perspective, we'll be flowing into this 20-year vision plan with our next strategic plan so that, the business community is aligned with it. So would open that for any questions that anybody might have.
Commissioner Snell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to move to approve the plan.
Motion and support. Discussion? I have discussion. Tony, go ahead.
Thank you, Commissioner. The Jackson County Board of Commissioners are elected by the citizens. Our obligation is to represent the citizens, and that should be our only motivating factor. The Board of Commissioners should not be making decisions based on a personal profit motive. What I see with this group, 6 different agencies, they're not elected, they're not removable, largely unaccountable, largely people don't even know anybody on these various organizations, and I believe they are motivated by personal profit from the corporations that donate to these different organizations. You got private for-profit businesses funding these agencies. And so I'm concerned that the recommendations are going to be coming from a personal profit motive rather than the commission making the decisions as we should, being compliant, being responsible to the citizens that elect us. So I think our citizens would be much better off if the commission did this with no personal profit motive than having outside agencies do this for us. Thank you for the time.
I've been a commissioner here for a number of years. Been through a few of these, at least one. I think I already know what the people want in this county. That's why I've been elected 10 times in a row. Usually no opponent. Public safety, roads, jobs. I don't feel like I'm going to gain anything, any insight by putting purple dots on the white page and pink dots on the other page and count the dots and decide what we all want. So I would suggest that we amend the motion, and if we're determined that some of the others need this, pay per head, pay $5,000 a head, because don't pay for me, because I won't be there. I just don't see the value. Commissioner Kennedy.
Whether the county participates or not, the chamber and Accelerate and the other groups mentioned are going to go forward with this anyways, correct?
That's correct. The additional would be the piggybacking, and then there's some additional pieces of engagement and the facilitation for the county.
Yeah, but that would be
included. But
the
20
exercises where commissioners would engage with a.
Correct.
Yep, okay.
The 20-year plan will move forward either way.
All right, and you would provide that information even if we didn't participate, what information you all gathered?
The 20-year vision plan, yes.
Okay.
It would not include a county commission vision, county commission strategic
Gotcha.
plan.
Thank
Yep.
you.
John, go ahead.
So does John.
So I guess what I'm seeing, what I'm understanding is the last strategic plan the county had was $60,000, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And I would add they were from Cincinnati too.
They were from Cincinnati as well. Current prices are ranging from $75,000 to $100,000. My understanding of this is, with our contribution to this, we get not only the knowledge that you'll gain from an organization that focuses in on comprehensive planning, strategic visioning, urban design, and community engagement. We bring that to the table, as well as that it will include the cost of our strategic planning at $50,000, which would still be $25,000 to $50,000 less than what it would cost us.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Plesky.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I think it's a good idea for the county to be a part of this process.
I think it's a good idea for the county to be part of this process. We're partnering with folks who are our constituents, okay? When you talk about who votes for us, there are many people who are chamber participants and who live in the city and who vote for us. I think we would be negligent not to be a part of the process to define how the county goes for the next few years. And so I plan to support the motion and the process, and frankly, we're doing it at a decent cost and partnering with those who have a similar interest in the advancement of our county. So I think it's a win-win all the way around, and I thank you, Mr. Chair, for the opportunity to mention that.
Many more questions, concerns? I would rather put $50,000 into potholes. That's me. I don't see the value here. But we have a motion on the table. And a support, yes. How do I make a?
Call the question. Roll call.
I want to prorate it. Why are you gonna pay for me?
It doesn't work that way.
Okay. Okay, then we're all ready to vote on this. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Aye. Okay,
I guess that calls it, okay. Go to the full board.
okay, it'll go to, yeah, go to the full board.
Yeah, if I
Okay.
may, just add,
Yes, sir.
to that there. I recognize that it's under 75,000, but I believe that something of this magnitude, the strategic planning process, it should go to the full board. So we will bring it to the full board for a full up vote for everybody, just to be clear.
Okay, move on to item 5, the claims. Need a motion and support to pay the claims?
Support.
Motion by Snell, supported by Pulaski. I see the claims are all signed. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes unanimously. There's no other minutes. Reporting schedule is equalization and the fair next month. We move on to public comment. Welcome. You got 2 minutes.
My name is James Minnick, Columbia Township voter, and I own parcels in several different districts. I've been holding on to this Jackson County strategic plan from 2014 to 2020 for years now, waiting for an opportunity to bring this up. So I would like to thank my commissioner, Mr. Duckham, for his refusal of that. This is another one of those frivolous programs that we don't need to fund because it's already out there. And again, it's for a special interest group, not my property, not my taxes. As well as I remember 3 months ago, this board, or excuse me, the full board was scrambling, trying to find out how they were going to cut $650,000 like we didn't know how to do math. I remember everything.
Thank you. Any further public comment? Commissioner comment? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.